Where are we, sweetheart?
Hello, well we're at Mysore Palace and they have the Garden of Flowers, and we're going to see some elephants. Over there is the palace, that's all made out of flowers.
And here's the real palace over
There's the real
there.
palace over there. There's just a few people here, not too many people. After a 4-hour drive from Bangalore airport to Mysore, stopping off at McDonald's on the way, we arrived and went straight to the palace to watch the lights be turned on. We were, however, pleasantly surprised to see the flower festival was on. And so after wandering around there for a while, we hung around, and at 7:02 all of a sudden the lights switched on. It was amazing.
How are we doing now?
We were taken by a very enthusiastic rickshaw driver to Old Town Mysore, where we went to see an essential oil business that was over 100 years old. The lady rolling the incense sticks rolled 2,000 a day. The sandalwood oil there, which was top quality, was the fifth of the price from Australia, and so Tom immediately stocked up on a good supply. Okay, so we're now in the area where they make the most amazing wooden carvings. Finally, we were taken to have dosa at the best dosa place in town. And I must admit, Tom and I both agreed it was the best dosa we'd ever had.
The bull is carved out of one piece of rock, isn't it, sweetheart?
It is one piece of rock. And usually it's black, but they clean it every year and it's just been cleaned, so now it's white again.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते.
Say hello.
Hello.
Say hello, Tom.
Hello, Tom.
Happy New Year.
This is the hospital.
God, it's huge.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
I'm ready to go for a gin and tonic for our New Year's Eve celebration tonight. We're at the amazing water park,
Well, gardens.
water gardens. Doesn't really do it justice. We decided to go and have a cool beer at the Elephant Club. Unfortunately, it was closed, but Tom insisted and the nice little waiter gave us a couple of beers. Unfortunately, the waiter was then severely reprimanded for serving people when they weren't open. However, we had a nice cold beer and looked out on an amazing view. So here we are enjoying the beautiful fountains on New Year's Eve. What a lovely way to celebrate for Tom and I. All the Indian people around are all whooping and hooping and really getting into the amazing changes as the fountain changes colours. This was a lovely way for us to spend on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, a bit like New Year's Eve fireworks in Australia, only done in the Indian way. We went to a local fruit and vegetable market and tried some rather exotic and interesting fruits.
Hello. Oh, spices.
No, color. The food lilies.
Oh, okay.
Not spices, color. This is bitter nuts.
But what's that used for? Brittle nut.
Indian people choose, no?
Oh, we chew it. What do you think of that? It's nice.
Pasta?
Yeah, we've seen that. We've seen that before.
Oh, wow.
What is it?
Oh, coriander.
Oh, nice.
I grow chilies at home. Yeah. Just a quick vista from the hotel, a bit hazy today, but still not a bad place to be. I want to go around. I can't find where.
Go one way.
Can you go in one way? Is that the rule? Could you walk over there?
I'm walking over here.
Walking over here. That's it. I'm following you. Can you walk backwards? I meant to walk backwards. This is the roof terraced garden restaurant, which actually we haven't been to, but as you can see, right opposite me is the shopping centre. So time to leave Mysore, so we caught a cab up to Ooty. What an amazing drive, winding up 3,000 feet above sea level to the Sherlock Hotel. The road to which was just really a goat track, but worth it for the air and the views. Here now, and it's just so beautiful. And we've got a lovely little terrace that we can sit in. It's a bit hot at the moment.
We're about to get some chips.
You see, some things never.
We're going to get this chicken sandwich.
So we have this little room here, and then going into this room here, we have our boudoir with our bed, with our swans, and here we have pictures of Sherlock Holmes, as we're staying in the Sherlock Hotel. and we're just loving it. So we're just going to stop now. Say something, Tom?
That's about it for today.
We caught the Nilgiri Blue train from Ooty to Kunar. We had to queue for ages to get onto the train, and then everyone just piled in. There was no organisation at all, and we were all jammed in like sardines. When we got to Kunar, we decided we'd go and explore the town a little bit, and so we walked around and saw all amazing markets, fish markets, and eventually decided we needed to go and eat something. So we went and had, guess what? Yes, another dosa, which was also very nice.
What do you reckon?
Then Tom almost fell off his chair when I announced that I would be happy to catch the local bus back to Ooty.
Caroline's favourite mode of transport. Here she is. On the bus to Ooty. Total price 32 rupees, which is about 60 cents. 70 cents. For the two of us.
And the guy next to you.
Hello.
And so, with more luck than anything else, we managed to clamber on to the right bus and have a very nice trip back to Ooty, where we made new friends on the bus, even though that at one stage we did get a little bit crammed in. I wanted to show people the experience that we had driving back to our hotel every time we actually stepped out of the Sherlock Hotel and went down to Ooty. It was kind of like crazy because it was the rickshaw person seemed to always be aiming for the holes to drive into. And the taxi that we caught up there almost gave up on the whole thing because the road was so bad. But as I said, that I've left this in because I just wanted to show you kind of how crazy it is in India as far as they see no obstacles of getting to where they want to go to. And although we were pretty kind of like shaken up like jelly by the end by all the shuttling around, I had to take my hat off to the driver who actually got us up there. last, getting up to the top of the hill, and there in front of you, yeah, this is where we live. We're in the top right-hand corner up there. But we still have a bit of a way to go, so we're hoping that we're still going to arrive there in one piece. Through the tea dry machine.
Where's this, sweetheart?
We're at the tea station in Ooty, very famous since 1985. Which is the way.
Redcoats in the village and they're fighting in the streets. Indians and the mountain man are talking when they meet. The king has said he's gonna put a tax on tea, and that's the reason y'all Americans drink coffee. Are you going to the party? Going to the Boston Tea Party. Going to the party. Going to the Boston Tea Party. Going to the party.
Goodbye, Sherlock Hotel. Elementary, my dear Watson.
This is the main bus office.
This is a KSRTC.
This is what?
Karnataka State Road Transport Corporation.
Oh, right. Karnataka State Road Transport Corporation. Official.
That is Tamil Nadu Transportation.
Oh, that's the other transformation. There's nobody there. It's just a seat and a desk. And we've got a really old computer. And this is the station here. Still kind of being built with concrete and stuff everywhere. And we're lucky to find this place. It's fantastic.
Okay.
This is what we call high class transportation. That's enough, is it, sweetheart?
Enough.
It's enough.
Have you got your change?
I've got my change here.
Ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay, let's go.
Here she is in the bus station with time to spare. I know, looking for shops. I think the Indian guy just pointed her in the right direction. I hope we've still got some money to spare. Bring us down here, sweetheart. On the bus back to Mysore to catch the train. First class carriage, Indian train. You look above, we've got a fan, and we do have some air conditioning above it as well. We have 2 beds, pillows, blankets, a nice table to do stuff on, and a drinks holder. We've brought all our supplies because you can't get anything on the train. So water in there. And we're sorted. This comes down into, falls into the bed we've already used. And we've got these things here, lift for light. Well, there's a little light bulb there.
Entering the first class carriage. Very stylish curtains. Climbing up to where we might home. Whoops! The next few hours.
we got a bell there too, and we got power. We can charge phones.
This is where I'm going to be sleeping. Okay. Right, Tom. Here's Tom looking out the train because we're coming into Hospot Junction before we go on our next adventure to Hampi. On arrival in Hampi, we were in awe of being in a laid-back small village surrounded by amazing ruins from a dynasty dating back to the 13th century. Hampi was a centre for trade and commerce until it was pillaged by invaders and destroyed. The province fell into ruin and was almost forgotten until archaeologists rediscovered it. Now the amazing ruins that spread out over 25 kilometres and consists of more than 500 monuments are now a World Heritage Site. All remains is the amazing temple Vitola. Getting up early in the morning, we went down to watch the river life unfold. There we saw the most amazing scenes of women washing their saris, people washing in the water, and then, as a highlight, the elephant Laxmia walked down and went into the water and had an amazing frolic and bath. It was just a delight to watch her. The whole experience for me was very enchanting, but also very peaceful. We took a ferry across the river to Angonda and hired a scooter and set out to explore the ancient structures there. Going across the river. I have to go back the wrong way though. I've ruined it for you now, sorry.
At the top of the Ganesh temple area, or Ganesha.
This was where we were before, so we've just walked up to the top here,
Kind of.
looking down on the temple where we got a blessing from. This is looking back to the water. Beautiful, eh? Okay, that's a nice cow. Tom getting on his bike.
130 years. We're in India, no helmets, Indian roads,
Cows walking behind
cows
you.
everywhere. But hey, what the hell?
Start it up then, darling.
Start it up. Oh yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
Start with something up. Oh, bloody brakes on that.
Should you turn it round first? Right, roll it backwards.
Yeah, go take the brake. There's a brake thing.
Shall I still record?
No,
No, okay.
look 1,000 Ks on this thing. But it works, and we got here up this mountainy thing, and we survived, even with Caroline on the back. So I know it's a stupid, crazy thing to do, but what the hell? It's India. Oh.
And here we come, racing down the home straight and his hat's blown off. Oh no! And you better go back and get it. Sitting on the back allowed me to appreciate the countryside and the amazing temples. We met friendly locals, domestic tourists, as well as bumping once again into a Swiss couple that we'd already met at Uti. Best restaurant.
What's this called again?
Sweet.
Just a sweet, but the name?
No
Indian name?
problem.
Bor. Okay, so little bit, right?
Yes, no problem.
Okay.
I mean, madams, worse. Sweet
Very good, darling. Going, so where are we going driving? It's late.
Nobody gonna tell me where to go. No, when I get me moped out on the road, I'm gonna ride.
Sounds like this, you need a GoPro. I'm taking it. Here we come to the end of our day on the other side of Hampi. And just walking back down to the river crossing.
Flash would be a waste of time.
Sit back and watch this. Digital maniacs.
Mutu, it shows you your tattoo. This is Mr. Free Hug, and this is his rickshaw, Free Hug. You have no idea how fast my heart beats when I see you. Okay, let's hit the road. Hampi has a huge World Heritage Area, and you need to get a ticket to visit it. And so when you're taken to the first temple or the first area, there's a ticket booth there, and you pay 600 rupees, which is about $12, for a ticket. So you go inside, have a look, and you come out. And stupidly, I thought that was it, and I chucked the ticket away. But then the rickshaw driver took us to the second place, and they asked for a ticket, and I didn't have a ticket, and they wanted another 600 rupees. Now, 600 rupees doesn't sound a real lot, but when you're in India for a while, you kind of get used to the currency, and everything seems expensive when you say 600 rupees. So it was a big dilemma, and we actually went back looking for the ticket, but we never found it. And so we decided, instead of paying, it's 600 rupees each, of course, so instead of paying another 600 rupees for both of us, I just paid 600 rupees for myself, and Caroline volunteered to stay outside. But that's a word of warning: when you get a ticket for one of these things, keep it.
Okay, stop there. Here I am, locked out of the temple because unfortunately Tom threw away our tickets, which means that we couldn't get in, and it was quite expensive. So we have just let Tom go in so he can see his giant chariot, and here I am, totally alone on the outside of the temple. But this is a beautiful view, no one else around. This is the temple, little shrine here, but I think because the sun's shining at the moment it's not going to come up. But if I walked into the light, maybe. So there's places all around, even though I can't get in. It's not a bad place to be.
Queen's Bar. This is a banana coconut, is it? Whatever it says on the top there. What is it?
Banana flour curry.
Banana flour curry. Which is
What does it taste like?
tastes very different. Very nice, right?
What kind of spicy thing?
Spicy, like spinachy spicy,
Right.
but not too spicy. It's certainly got some floury stuff in it. I'm not sure about banana. Very nice.
Eating and staying Hampi was basic, but we loved the rooftop restaurants and bars from which you could see the amazing ruins as well as the amazing sunsets and sunrises. We once again bumped into our Swiss friends and we had a lovely meal with them. Ladies drying their saris. So beautiful here. Leaving Hampi was quite an ordeal. We actually ended up catching a taxi all the way to the airport because the trains were on strike.
In Goa we met up with Lizzie and Jim. Ellen joined us later on. We explored churches, art galleries, and ended up going on to a twilight cruise. According to Wikipedia, the history of Goa dates back to prehistoric times. I'm thinking that's just the same as anywhere else on the planet, and it's a bit too far back, so I'm not going to go and start there. Portuguese colonial rule was between 1504 and 1561, and these photographs of all the old Portuguese dwellings around the place. In one of these photographs here, you can see where we've ordered 2 different taxis that came at the same time, and we had a bit of fun sorting it all out. Goa on the beach. In Goa we stayed in this like I guess some kind of shack right on the beach. It's pleasant enough with its own bathroom, little ensuite. And the food there was terrific. We used to come with the catch of the day, so it's lobster, red snapper, lots of different types of fish, tuna of course.
Big of the menu here to choose from.
The only thing that bugged me was people coming up on the beach trying to sell you stuff with LED lights in it, which are in pieces of plastic that you'd never use and not exactly Indian. And we had a beautiful lobster to eat for dinner that night, and a great red snapper the night after, and a good old English breakfast in the morning.
To leave Palom Beach and to catch our airplane, we had to leave at 1 o'clock in the morning. So Tom and I could be stumbling through the dark, through the sand dunes, trying to get back onto the track where supposedly our taxi was waiting for us. So we landed in the middle of the desert, then we caught a cab and off we went to Jaisalmer, which is the Fort of Light. And honestly, I must admit, we drove in, really was the most spectacular sandstone fort that I've ever seen in my life. As the taxi went past, we saw all the people milling around the place, and I had this feeling that this was the place that was going to be my favourite so far on our journey. Our room at Jaisalmer in the hotel was amazing. It had sandstone carvings on the inside, and from the terrace we looked up over and could see the beautiful fort just right in front of us.
Lots of lounging around, drinking their chai tea and being waited on by Tanu, who was ever present and very helpful, who was one of the owners of the hotel. And later on, of course, a few beers. Great place, and overlook to the main fort as well. We had a great view of the fort. Fantastic sandstone carvings on all these Havalis. Lots of cows. A spectacular entrance to Jaisalmer Fort. It's believed to be one of the very few living forts in the world. There's nearly 1/4 of the old city's population still actually reside within the fort. Where are we?
We're at the fort, and we're talking about carpets already. So yeah, we're about to keep on going up. Jaisalmer Fort. And here we are in the market square. This is Jaisalmer Fort. I'm only allowed to go one way, as instructed by my darling husband, Thomas, who is now going to appear in the picture, and need to walk away a little bit further. Pointing. And then that's the way to the Jain temple.
The Jaisalmer Fort. It's also known as the Golden Fort, as it rises from the desert itself and it seems to become one with the golden hues of the sand. Two favourite photographs of cows. This one thinks it's a roundabout, and the other one seems to be just looking in through the door at something or other. Great pics. Time for a good old Indian shave.
You look at my husband, not at the camera. Okay, here goes.
Off to the desert we go.
See, there are all the Australian people.
Off we went on a camel ride into the desert to see the sunset. Caroline was more than happy to frolic on the camel without me. Oh, well done! Okay, now you're showing off.
This is much better. This is much better without him on my back. I used to ride horses.
I'm not done it.
Yeah, well, giddy up then. Bye-bye. Man and dog in the desert. Time for the traditional dance.
Okay, I've got the
And concert.
swirling dervishes. I don't know what it's doing.
Why not join in? This is Jaisalmer's Bang shop. The magic ingredient is bang, which is cannabis buds and leaves mixed into a paste with milk, ghee and spices. We tried a little bit of bang to see how it went. There was a lot of bangs happening outside because in this particular day, in this particular month actually in Jaisalmer, it's like a wedding season and you can find like up to maybe 10 weddings on a night. So this is a procession of one of the weddings which met up with another procession from another wedding, and they just carry on together around the narrow streets and everyone has a good time. We were invited to one of them and so we went along and we just walked along for the ride. The groom traditionally rides a white horse. It seemed like Caroline and I were the only Westerners in the whole place.
As we were following the parade, all of a sudden someone started calling out our names and we thought, wow, here we are in the middle of a wedding, stoned off our faces, and somebody knows us. And actually it was the proprietor of the hotel, and he beckoned us to come over because actually it's one of his relatives that were getting married, and to join him and his family for a cup of tea, which we thought was a very civilised thing to do.
The bang did start to have a bit of an effect on Caroline. Talking about little pigs and cows.
Here we are sitting on the terrace of our hotel in Jaisalmer, and we've got a wedding going on in front of us, a wedding going on beside us, and celebrating a wedding with fireworks behind us as well. So here we are. Oh, there's little piglets down there as well.
Piglets,
Pigs, dogs,
cows.
Everybody's down on the streets.
The Havali is a traditional townhouse or a mansion in India, usually one with historical architectural significance. Actually means old private family living mansion, which is in the old city. It's derived from Arabic Hawali, which means partition or private space.
You didn't video that, did you?
I did, darling.
Little dog, stuff it.
I liked the old doors and staircases.
What I loved about Jaisalmer was in the fort, it was a living fort, and all the carvings all done in the sand the sandstone just were incredible. Every place you walked into, and the Havalis there were just like palaces. So Tom and I had a wonderful time climbing up and down them and looking outside. It really was such an adventure to be stepping back in time to buildings that have stood there for a long time and still to this day being used for people's homes.
You're live on video.
We're having now best mutton lal. This is called lal mash from Jaisalmer. We cook real good taste in fire,
Authentically cooked on a fire.
and we having real taste of mutton from desert.
Great. Mutton
We
from the
cook,
desert.
fresh mutton with gravy and bit of spices, and it took long time to cook, more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
But you're having good food. I hope you're enjoying, my dear guest.
I'm sure we will.
Yes. And thank you so much for your kindness to be patient with us.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much of you.
Look at this.
Jai Mata Devi.
Here it
Jai
comes.
Mata Ji.
Yes, ka
Here
mutton
it
lal
comes.
man.
Pass yeah.
Pass the cheese.
Pass the cheese.
Yeah.
Pass the cheese.
Everybody knows pasta cheese in India, famous.
This bukdi not for you. This bukdi for someone else.
Yeah?
I can have this,
Okay, you have that. What is it?
Bukdi.
Bugri. What's
Bugri.
bugri? What is
It
it?
is a part of the mutton, part of the goat,
Oh, the eye?
not
No.
eye.
What?
Some part. I
Hard,
don't know.
hard.
You're not going to tell me. The heart?
Hard.
The eating
But
heart.
he needs the heart.
You need heart.
No, I don't
you
need
are
the
there.
heart,
Come on. You are his heart. You are his heart. Come on. What
You got
else?
his heart,
He need heart.
He don't need any heart anymore.
But you don't need a heart either.
No, for me,
No,
I
you
love.
don't need a heart.
I need heart.
Oh, you do.
I need heart. I don't find heart like you,
Please.
Jaisalmer Lake, or as it's called, Gadsisar Lake, which is one of the most famous tourist places in Jaisalmer. And this is where Caroline decided to get dressed up in authentic garb for a photo or two. Shareholders will be pleased to note that the English Wine and Beer Shop is doing great guns. It looks fantastic after all the restorations. How many more are going to come out? Our last night in Jaisalmer, overlooking the fort and looking at more Havalis. And saying goodbye to Tanu, who has been a great host. And of course, having a couple of beers with him before we hit the road again.
Hi, good evening, midnight on Jaisalmer station. We're just about to board the train that's going to take us to Marwar Junction, and then from there we're going to catch a cab to Ridley. So anyway, safe journey. Thank you very much.
Caroline has drunk half a bottle of whiskey.
And Tom can't walk straight.
It's our train, it's a huge train, and this is, we found it's AC first, and we've got a little coupe thingy. And that's it, basically. I'll show you the room. Room with a view, so you go in here. Here. Where are we? We're D1112. So this is us for 8 hours on the trip to Marwa Junction. This is one of the main roads to Udaipur. And it's going to take a while to get there because it's 200 or so kilometres. We're kind of hoping there's a highway on the other side of these mountains. We have a load of monkeys. Maybe I'll line the window up. Monkeys, dangerous monkeys. Where are we? We don't know. On the way to Udaipur. Just had a pakara and something from there. I'm a chai tea from here. How much?
30 rupees only for give me.
Sorry?
10 rupees only.
10 rupees only. That's good. It's 20, yeah?
20. 10 more. Give me.
Sorry?
13 rupees. 3 chai.
30 rupees.
Ek ustad.
Not 20 rupees.
22 chai.
22.
Chai.
So you want another 10 rupees?
My name is Lalit Kishore Chaturvedi.
So this is how hard it is to deal in India. Another 10 rupees.
10 rupees only.
All right.
Give me.
What do you think about that, sweetheart?
I don't know anything about it, darling.
Can't do anything about it, darling. 10 rupees. 10 rupees is 20 cents, and I'm haggling over 20 cents here. On the way to Udaipur, we passed the largest statue of Shiva in the world, which is still being constructed. And here we are as guests of the prince. On the way up from Goa, we actually met this guy called Yogi, who was a friend of the prince. And he sort of, long story short, got us to cancel all our bookings and said he's a friend of the prince, so he can get you a better rate. And you can go to the museums and stay at one of his hotels at a much cheaper rate and get free taxi and travel between the town and the hunting lodge where we eventually stayed at. So we got a fancy tuk-tuk and all gates were opened for us as we went all the way up to the main palace in the city where Lizzie and Jim were staying. This, by the way, was in part of a film Octopussy. So we had a trip to a museum as guests of the prince. Amazing old building. This was built over a period of nearly 400 years with contributions from several rulers of the Mewar dynasty. Room after room of wonders, frescoes, walls of mirrors, balconies, chambers and nooks. Lake Pichola is a artificial lake created in the year 1362, named after the nearby Picholi village.
Algo debieras embrujar los misiles, alguien debiera hacer estallar el hongo de los derechos civiles de los.
We took a trip to Jagmandir, which is a palace built on an island in the middle of the lake. Had a nice refreshing drink and walked around the grounds. I went for my own little walk around the grounds and everyone ended up missing the boat because they were waiting for me. A nice spot to wait though. As guests of a prince, our chauffeur was waiting for us to take us back to the hunting lodge. No one was hunting at the lodge, but there was certainly plenty of deer and we were amazed to see them all just outside our room.
It's just outside our room. A few deer have come up for their afternoon snacks. Some peacocks strutting around the place as well.
Ahora es escorial el papel sorprendente de Sherezada en su lecho nupcial. La orden de fuego la dio un disidente de la cultura, la carne, la mente, el sueño y la vida que no sea virtual. 1000 una noches.
What a great spot for a twilight cocktail, overlooking the grounds and all those deer. Then back to the Princess Palace, where Jim and Lizzie were having their own cocktails. Dined at the Prince's Lake Terrace Hotel. Because Caroline and I were guests of the Prince, they gave all of us 35% off. And then a stroll back up through the magnificent grounds of the Palace Hotel. Next day, Jim and I went for a walk in the grounds of the Hunter's Lodge just out into the wilderness. Back at the hunting lodge, Caroline was having fun with a horse, just across from the Prince's own airport, Shishkabadi Airport, which was again just across from his own cricket ground. Had to get a picture of the great security guard. To leaving Udaipur, we had a great flight on the SpiceJet propelled aeroplane to Jaipur.
After a pleasant flight with our friends Lizzie and Jim, we arrived in Jaipur. Everything went really well. We caught the taxi. We're off to stay at the famous Havali that had been on the television. And then as we turned up, things just started to go slightly wrong. It seemed that we had booked totally into the wrong Havali, and the one that Lizzie and Jim thought they were staying in, they'd actually booked into another part of it. So there was a little bit of disappointment and hanging around, and eventually we went by rickshaw to our Havali, which unfortunately just wasn't going to be good enough for us. So we went back to the other Havali and we spoke to the owners, and they said that maybe that their auntie might have a place because it was all part of the same Havali. So we spoke to them and her nephew, and they very kindly gave up her room. She moved out of her room and we moved into the auntie's room, where we stayed for the next 3 days. Okay, here we are filming, going through Jaipur rush hour traffic in our tuk-tuk. Our tuk-tuk reformer. And I'm here with Lizzie and Ellen, and the boys are in some other tuk-tuk. We're hoping that we haven't lost them completely. Seems to be a bit of a traffic jam.
More rickshaw madness as we went out for the night in the busy streets of Jaipur. Caroline!
As you can see, it's just walking along the blanket. All this chaos, people are just walking through. All we need now to see is a cow or two, and we would have kind of seen everything. Man on bicycle. Local bus.
Hey, careful with the guy in the wheelchair.
And we're out of it.
The next day, Jim and I went to the observatory. It was a fantastic place. This is called the Jantar Mantar Monument, which is in Jaipur. It's a collection of 19 archaeological astronomical instruments, which was completed in 1734. It features the world's largest stone sundial.
Well, the boys went up to see some of the biggest sundials in the world, Lizzie and I decided to go and do some retail therapy. We ended up being taken to a shop that sold totally overpriced silver jewellery. Then they took us to a fabric shop which had some beautiful drapes and things, and we bought some bed covers. And then, just as I was leaving, they took us to the carpet shop, and I promised myself I'd never buy a rug from those people. But guess what? It was a beautiful rug. I fell in love with it, and after lots of haggling and carrying on, that I've actually bought it. And there are the photos of my beautiful carpet.
Chawala, 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 chawala.
Okay, so here we are in the village outside, eating street food, and then we're filming, people filming us. John, what do you think of the food?
Very nice. Chickpea, not too hot.
Yeah.
Well, you can choose how spicy you want it.
This is not spicy.
It's not spicy?
No, it's a bit peppery in the back. It's nice. It's certainly not bland.
No.
It's, it's not what I would call really spicy.
We attended Jaipur's annual literary festival. I bought a scientific book, a chemistry book, The G Machine by Venki Ramakrishnan, who kindly signed it for me. After passing more camels and elephants, we headed off to see the fort, Jaipur Fort. Was quite a spectacular fort it was too. We had 12 hours left in India, and for that we had to go and see the Taj at Agra. We woke up very early in the morning and put a taxi up that drove us and watched the sunrise as we headed towards Agra. Once we got there, it really was the most amazing thing. We got hassled by so many people saying, do you want to guide? We kept saying, no, it'll be fine. They said, oh, well, you have a guide, we'll get through quicker. But in fact, we had no trouble getting in at all. It only took us about 5 minutes. And then we took the big walk up and then looked through the gate, and there was the Taj in all her glory. We had a wonderful time wandering around. It was a dream come true, because it is one of the 7 wonders of the world. And that was what we saw. Luckily for us also that it had just been cleaned. So it was the marble was as white as white. And it really was a very special day.
Okay, so here we are eventually at the Taj. Just going to give you a little bit of a... Tom's just going to walk all the way through the pictures.
On the way back in the taxi, we just fit in one more temple. There was a jolly old goat there. and a jolly old man just outside the temple who gave me a blessing.
It really was an amazing adventure.